All right, what's poppin', party pundits? We're here for another episode of Pop Talk. This is your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on for Coach Dave, Boston Jared,
What up?
and the Casual Rand.
What up, though?
And we are the pundits of pugilism, bringing you the most erudite discussion on boxing on the net. So we're going to jump right into this weekend's action, which is for all of the marbles. We have your man, Devin Haney, taking on Vasily Lomacheko for all of the belts at lightweight. This is for 135-pound supremacy. This is very significant, not only within that weight division, but really for boxing in general. I think that this is easily the most competitive and exciting division that we have in boxing. And on the heels of the Tank versus Garcia fight, and also the this fight from this weekend. Well, actually, that was at super lightweight, but we'll kind of, there's still, Rolly is still kind of within that category. But let's start off with the casual one. Right now, we're just gonna give our breakdowns of the fight and then how you think that this will play out. We can also talk about its significance when it comes to the 135-pound landscape. So the casual one, give me your thoughts on this fight and how do you think it will play out this weekend?
Man, I'm looking forward to this fight, man. This is probably one that's been marked on our calendars for a while. How it's going to play out? I think Loma has had enough time to figure out that jab, that Devin Haney jab. So, I think that's the key to the fight right there. To me, is that jab. I don't think Haney has the power to put anybody to sleep. I think his plan is to control that whole fight using the jab, and I think that Loma had the time to try to figure that out. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm excited to see if he can. And at this stage in his career, he is getting a little older and possibly slower. But the whole Loma thing is the matrix. So if he can devise a plan to slip that jab and then just get inside and work Haney, I don't know. I think that's going to make for an interesting fight.
All right. Boston Jared, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with the sentiments of the casual one?
Yeah, to an extent, especially when it comes to the jab, and the jab being the keys to success. I don't think that the jab overall is going to be the key to success. I think that's one of many pieces that are going to play a factor in this fight when it comes to Devin. I think, yes, Devin does need to establish that jab, but he also has got to bring something behind that jab, because he's got to keep Loma honest. The same way that Teofimo had the advantage of being known as a power puncher, right? When he came in, he automatically had that respect from Loma, and Loma was content to stay on the outside, stay on his back foot, which you don't normally see from Loma. Loma is very much a front-footed guy, but Teofimo already had that respect. I don't think Devin's going to have that same respect factor when they step into the ring, when that bell rings for the first round. Devin Haney is going to have to bring that, like Coach Day says, that brick hand behind that jab to keep Loma honest and to keep people trying to cut that distance. Loma likes to do a lot of stepping off on angles and tick-tocking and rocking, and he's going to have to do that to get past the jab. Haney has got to fire that lead right hand, and he's got to keep Loma honest. The other thing that I think Devin Haney has got to do is he's got to stay flat-footed. And I went back and I watched the Jojo Diaz fight. If you look at Jojo Diaz fight and you look at some of Devin Haney's other fights, Devin Haney is flat-footed in that fight, and he's standing and he's delivering hard punches. If he's able to land the same type of punches that he landed against Jojo Diaz, against Lomachenko, I think he has a good chance of stopping Lomachenko. Jojo Diaz, despite coming up in weight, go back and watch that fight. He looked like a little running back in that fight. He had put a lot of weight on. He put a lot of muscle on when he had moved up in weight. Devin Haney stayed flat-footed in that fight. He delivered a stiff, hard jab, and he brought a right hand behind it, and not just a straight right hand through the guard. He delivered a straight right hand to the pit of Jojo Diaz's stomach, and I believe that punch in particular, the straight right hand to Lomachenko's body, is going to be probably the most important punch in this fight, aside from the jab. When it comes to Loma, if I'm Lomachenko, I'm forcing Devin Haney to initiate the action. The same way that Sean Porter did against Terrence Crawford. Sean Porter was very, very, very patient, played the back foot, let Crawford initiate with single punches and then counted over the top in volume and in combinations. That's what I would look for from Loma, is let Devin Haney initiate the action and then counter with combinations, step off and try to avoid that straight right hand. I also think Lomachenko takes a page from the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney playbook. I believe you will see Lomachenko probing with that lead right hand to try to control and neutralize the lead hand of Devin Haney. You go back and you watch the Luke Campbell fight. Luke Campbell has got similar dimensions to Devin Haney. He's about 5'9.5", real long reach. And while Luke Campbell is not the same snappy guy, he's not the same kind of athlete, he had the same type of plan. Control distance, use that jab to keep Loma honest. And Luke Campbell was very, very successful in that fight. And what you saw early from Lomachenko was him using both hands to try to catch and parry those long punches, that jab and that straight right hand from Luke Campbell. I took a lot of time up, so go ahead, Coach Dave. Sorry about that.
Oh no, bro, you were spot on it, man. You should have just kept on with your flow, man. I want to make sure you was finishing your thoughts and stuff, man. If you want to, go ahead, because I agree with definitely a lot of it, man. Really was only probably one thing I didn't agree with, man. But so I just want to make you finish your thought.
Yeah.
Well, I got some disagreements, but I'll wait.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Campbell. If you got disagreements, go ahead.
You want to rock?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and rock it, and then we'll let you end it out, Coach.
Okay.
Well, I mean, for a couple of things is, Luke Campbell was does have similar range and stuff. He's a southpaw, which, the angle is totally different, when you fight that. And then, it may be a good advice for Sean Porter, but, Sean Porter got stopped, though, too, by Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, I was talking about more so the game plan of being able to counter in combinations and don't try to initiate the action. Put the pressure on Devin Haney to initiate and respond in counters. Before Porter got stopped, he was up in that fight. At least I had him up in the fight. So sorry, go ahead, finish.
And the other thing I think that, and the one that I disagree with the most respectfully is Haney being flat-footed. I think that Loma will turn the guy the whole time and have Haney, because every time Haney has to pick up his foot and set it down to be able to set on those punches, I think Lomo's gonna dot. He's gonna throw that right hook, kind of over that jab, but that's gonna give him his angles. I think that if he is flat-footed.
Just turn with him. Luke Campbell did the same thing, and so did Teofimo Lopez. He just turned with him. Devin has got to be flat-footed in order to stand and deliver hard shots. Because if he allows Loma to displace him, one, it's going to allow Loma to come forward and dictate the pace of the fight. That's bad. Because Devin is the bigger, stronger guy. Devin needs to step to this motherfucker and walk to him and press him back. I think if Devin starts out bouncing around on his pogo stick, he's going to allow for Loma to displace him and dictate the real estate and control the pace. So,
I mean,
how
do you think that he will
go back and watch the Jojo Diaz fight?
Yeah, I'm good, but I think Joe Diaz is not the same type of fighter. He's got maybe
he's not.
Skill. But I mean, you don't. I think so. I think the person I think we'll agree who had the most success against Lomachenko was Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo was he kind of took that power boxing I think to like another level. And one of the reasons was I thought he did a great job of cutting off the ring. Like he seemed to kind of make the ring smaller and smaller for like Lomachenko, where he would kind of I thought he forced Lomachenko into some exchanges that Lomachenko didn't necessarily want to engage in.
My problem with that is that Teofimo Lopez fight turned into a staring contest because Teofimo is a natural counterpuncher. And Loma was very, very leery to engage. And there was a lot of posturing. There was a lot of battling with the feet. You go back and you watch that Luke Campbell fight. Luke Campbell puts hands on Loma. I know he lost that fight. Luke Campbell puts more hands on Loma than Teofimo does. And he hurt Lomachenko twice in that fight, I believe.
But possibly, I think Teofimo, I don't know if he hurt him. He definitely got his attention. Like he, definitely stood him up there. But I would say that Devin has definitely has to work behind that jab. But I think he needs to kind of be creative with it also, just to kind of keep Teofimo like on his toes. So jab to the head, jab to the body, and then sometimes just turn that jab over, right? And then just kind of turn it into a bit of a hook, even if it's just to get make sure that his lead foot is outside of Lomachenko's lead foot, all right? Just kind of pop, get him to go into that opposite direction. I think that he's bringing all of the advantages into the fight, to be honest. I think as far as youth, physicality, range, I think that Loma probably has a better footwork than him. But if you look at their latest performances, I think that Haney seems to be somebody who is kind of in his better form at this time. I think with Lomachenko, his best bet is to be able to kind of summon up the kind of style and energy that he had as a younger fighter, and that was somebody who was super busy, that was constantly turning their fighters, that was giving really creative angles, and then for me, for example, is this was against another southpaw, but when he fought Rigondeaux, I thought that Rigondeaux was a master boxer, but he didn't have his legs at that time. And
he was also coming up 2 weight classes.
He was coming up, but the guy seemed like he didn't know where the punches were coming from. Like and this was somebody who I truly think is a master boxer.
One of the best fighters I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
In his prime.
He was. But he was definitely and Lomachenko acknowledged that this was a fighter that was coming up 2 weight divisions. But Coach Dave, what say you?
So first of all, man, across the board, bro, I'm just sitting over here internally smiling, bro. I don't care what the fans might say as they post on that video. At least this situation, I was just proud of, I like all 3 of you cats were saying some solid stuff. And, that just makes me feel good, bro. And about the expertise that I think you guys have in this fight game. And now, again, going back to my word, looking at this thing holistically, man, I wish, because I heard all 3 of you cats. So I'm going to tell you, man, I think the only thing that was left out, you guys talked about youth, you talked about footwork, you talked about the different angles, you talked about, the power shots, everything that's in there. But the one thing that y'all didn't talk about that I personally think is going to be the key to this whole fight is timing.
Mm-hmm.
Timing. Now, just hear me. So hear me out. Personally, to me, they both have exceptional footwork. Lomachenko might do his thing. It might be a little bit more fancy, but in terms of just rolling and staying on his toes and moving and putting that jab out there, I think people have been sleeping on Haney's boxing skills, man. And I think I've said that kind of in some earlier shows. You know what I'm saying? So both of these jokers, man, I think got exceptional footwork, bro. Both of them. I think both of them perfect at understanding and finding their range. Lomachenko might have a little bit edge because he finds his distance and he can use those angles to get on the inside. But he is only hitting those angles when he's inside and close to those fighters. I think both of them understands what it takes to find their range to be able to do what it is that they might need to do. So going back to the timing. So I think it might have been Boston Jared that was like, turn with him. Like that's going to be key. The only thing I didn't agree with Boston Jared was like, yeah, I think he does need to kind of sit down on some of those punches. But if he can turn and shoot some stuff off the turn or quickly get back solid and shoot some stuff, I think you guys gonna be surprised. And I think Lomachenko might be in for a long, frustrating night. You know, now I know we might give our picks later on, but here's the thing. I think Devin's timing, be it youth or whatever, might be a little bit more on point than Lomachenko's timing. And I say that in the same conviction as I say, I think Lomo's footwork might be a little bit better, but that timing of that young kid, man, you know, is critical in this fight. And no different than you hunting and you kind of lead that target that you're trying to hit. Jared, what you mentioned about turning, and if he figure out which way this boy is going and he turns with him and he fires some stuff at Lomachenko, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be an interesting night. About the punching power, and this will be my last point. Lomachenko is gonna be desperate to get on that inside. I think he's gonna, you know, constantly disrespect that man's punching power, even throughout the fight, especially in the later rounds. But I think if Devin don't get clipped in those later rounds, I think that boy's timing and ability to predict where Lomo is going, I think Lomachenko is going to run into something that's going to add to the power that Haney is hitting this cat with. I ain't saying he's gonna knock him out, but I got a solid prediction there. And Professor Neil's been killing us on the prediction. I think I'm gonna be on it with this one right here, though. I think I'm gonna be on it with this one. So, I
was gonna ask. Are you finished, Dave? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I hope all that makes sense, man. Just the key thing I think that you three have left out was the timing, and I think that's gonna be critical in this fight.
Let me ask Dave one quick question, Cam, because this has come up in the pre-fight lead-up, is the officiating and Devin accusing Loma of being a dirty fighter and using dirty tactics. What role do you think?
Oh, I think you froze.
Oh, did I come back?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the question is, what role do you think the official is going to play, the referee's going to play in this fight? And if you're Devin, would you advise him, would you coach him to tie up on the inside, or would you tell him to try to work on the inside?
I honestly, man, so I would say, you know, to do whatever the situation, because it's so fluid. But if I had to choose between the two, I would say immediately on that inside, try to work, grab, work, or move. You know, Lomachenko, and if I had my choice, I would say work and move, because Lomachenko is so used to moving and having a fighter look for him. He's not used to having to look for a fighter. You see what I'm saying? So if you work and you move on Lomachenko, I'm telling you, this dude is not used to having to look for someone. He's not. So yes, work, step around if you can. Work, roll around if you can. Work, push step back if you can. So that would be my first thing. But if you need to tie him up, yeah. But no, man, I would work and just move on Lomo. And I'm telling you, Lomo is that timing gonna be on his ass.
We saw it in the Linares fight. Linares ran him right into a straight right hand and
set him down. Yeah, I thought Lomo for one of the few times just because he was having a lot of success. I thought he just got a little lazy,
a little careless, was feeling himself a little bit.
Yeah, right in front of him. I actually remember I was at the casual ones home and we were watching that fight and stuff. I literally jumped out of my seat because it seemed to come out of nowhere. And it was a legit.
Oh, it was. He sat his ass. He sat his ass right down.
On his ass.
So and that was what I thought to myself. If that were Tank that landed that shot, he'd have killed. Lomachenko would have had to go to the hospital if that was Tank that landed that. Anyway, let's not go there.
So I don't like what kind of Haney, because I mean he's kind of, I think a lot of that is just gamesmanship. But I mean, to call Lomachenko a dirty fighter, I don't see that. I haven't seen it. I might have seen all of his fights too.
Yeah, I think it's a little gamesmanship. I think he's just trying to set the stage. Yeah, it's just gamesmanship.
Yeah, I don't think Lomo's dirty. I don't think he's dirty at all, man.
Yeah, but I think that but to me, the reason I don't like it because I think that he's trying to position it where the referee would come up and kind of break up some of those clinching and like that fighting on the inside. But I don't know what Loma, because I mean, when I think about him is when he got done dirty in his second pro fight against
Salido. Nobody told his ass to fight Salido.
Salido gave him that business. So
yeah.
All right, but before we go on to the next topic, I just want to give a couple of things. So this is Ring Magazine, which I mean a lot of people are not too, but we'll just kind of roll with this one. So they have the kind of the latest updated rankings for the 135-pound division. So with Devin Haney sitting as a champion. Number one is one ranked is Vasily Lomachenko. Number two is Gervonta Davis. Number three is Ryan Garcia. That'll probably be adjusted. Number four is Isak Cruz. 5 is Shakur Stevenson. 6 is Frank Martin. 7 is George Kambosos. 8 is Willie Zepeda. 9 is Maxie Hughes. And 10 is Keyshawn Davis. So and then we'll come back. We'll give our pundit picks, and we'll also give the odds for that fight. But let's jump into another topic in 1 second.